lot of people ask me this question with rapport. If I'm constantly being like others, am I losing my individuality?
Yes,
okay?
I was going to come to this. Are you not being yourself then? Are you not being authentic?
Beautiful, beautiful. What is yourself is again a question we can delve in later, because we are all extensions and mirrors of each other anyway.
Sure.
But coming to what the intention behind this question, it's a very qualitative question. That then am I not being myself? Do I have to keep being like somebody?
Yeah.
When am I going to be myself?
Yeah.
Very qualitative question, but the beauty is sometimes rapport takes only a few seconds, because intention, energy is following thought. If my intention is in the right place and the right space, that I will rapport build because I genuinely want to improve my relationships with this person. I wish to rapport build because I genuinely wish to get to know this person better and have a more meaningful interaction, whether it's business or personal. As long as the intention exists, you probably need to rapport build consciously only once or twice.
Wow.
After that, if your intention is in the right place, you rapport builds by itself. Okay, then you're automatically conditioning yourself to look at more similarities than differences. And then just being yourself means you're in rapport.
Talk about rapport building. It's all about making people comfortable, and it's true that there are some people who just have a natural knack to make everyone around them feel so comfortable. You could meet someone from a completely different background, cultural, socio-economic, whatever, and make them feel equally comfortable to someone from their own background. What's the difference between such people and the others?
Beautiful. So, you know, if you consciously want to start rapport building, using media is sometimes the easiest, but the most powerful rapport building tool is actually body language.
Wow.
Okay, so even micro muscle movements in your body, if you mirror and match with somebody else, their brain just knows this person is speaking my language, because over 70% of our communication is knowingly or unknowingly happening through body language. If you go down to real analysis, scientifically done, then it's 55 of body language, 38 tonality, and 7% of words. But let's say that a large part of what we are doing is bodily communicated. So it's non-verbal and micro muscle movement. So if I want to build rapport with somebody in a meeting, I can even just do a small twitch of my finger. My intention is to build rapport with the person. And I can just do a small twitch like he is doing. And we are in, that's how powerful it is. It is just magnanimous. Okay. But if somebody is doing it with a mass or a large group of people, first their intention is to constantly be in alignment with everything around them is one. Second, unknowingly, they are rapport building with micro muscle movements with everybody around. And if there is somebody who's a lecturer, who's a teacher, a professor, a public speaker, and they hold space really well, they would know, and it's no rocket science, okay? It's an unconscious learning that as standing there, they know who is mentally in the room and physically in the room, and who's physically there and mentally has drifted. And where have they learned it? By just gauging body language, mirror matching with them, and bringing them back to the here and the now. And that's probably an unconscious process, because in NLP, we say that what you learn unconsciously, you can't apply consciously. Okay. So something that's an unconscious process, if you ask a person to break it down, you're like, whoa, I didn't realize I was doing that. Now let me think about it. But it's so unconscious. It's like a cop or a ticket checker knows who doesn't have a ticket or a license, and they will catch them exactly. And if you ask them how they're doing it, they say, I don't know, I just know. It's an unconscious learning. If you ask them to break it down consciously, they may not be. So if somebody is in a beautiful rapport with an audience around them, irrespective of the nature of the audience, largely it could be that they're unconsciously already in sync with everything around, or have consciously trained themselves to start doing it with micro muscle movements.
Really such a powerful tool, incredibly powerful tool once you understand this, and then you play with it, and then you apply it where you need to apply it. Surely it's the kind of thing that, the most influential people, governments, politicians. Surely these are things that are huge tools for them too.
Certain major politicians who have even taken NLP training specifically
to
be able to even work not only on how they are dressing and clothing, because color has a huge impact on nonverbal communication. Depending, let's take, say, the US or even India for that matter, the kind of color you wear on your body, you know which political party or where your alliance lies. Their choice of linguistics, their choice of pitch and tone, to even the way they will, in NLP, for example, we have a concept of anchoring. Okay. And what an anchor means, it's like a little button. So the minute you press a button, maybe a button is wired for a bulb and another button will be wired for a ceiling fan. Okay. So there are two buttons for separate outcomes. Similarly, for all our senses, let's say anchors are like little trigger points or buttons. Okay. And the minute you say a certain word, a certain aspect comes up in your mind. That's your anchor to. So a lot of politicians, depending on what they want to elicit or bring about in an audience as an emotional state, a physical response, they will say these anchor words that are a part of our conditioning. And sitting there, the audience is like mesmerized, and you walk out saying, I have no idea what he just said, but I'm going to go straight to the polling booth and I know who I'm going to hit the button for. So these are subtle arts. So if you break down the word rapport, in the dictionary, it says a skillful use of the hands. Okay. And magicians, or even the first book that John and Richard wrote together was called Structure of Magic. Because a magician, if you knew how he was doing the magic, you wouldn't pay and go for his show. Okay. It's because you're oblivious to how he's doing it that you're there. Oh, I love what he's doing. He's pulling out a rabbit out of a hat, or he's doing something. And that is what attracts an audience. That's what attracts people. So everything around us is magic, and it has its own structure and very subtly done. So there are certain communities that are business communities, and you realize they use linguistics so beautifully. They know rapport so beautifully that you walk into their store, and whether you want to buy or not, you will make a purchase and walk out. And you walk out and say, I didn't even want, I never walked in to buy. I was probably tagging along with somebody, but he converted me into purchasing something. Okay. So there is skillful use of tools and techniques all around us anyway. And what did NLP do? What John and Richard did, or what others in the body of work of NLP have done, is identify these models of excellence. People are addicted to certainty. Okay. And the certainty that when I take this substance, I'm going to feel a certain way is an addiction to certainty. Maybe in some other aspect of your life, if you just take, if the outcome the person wants is certainty, and you put it in a different way where he has certainty of finances, he has certainty that he will be loved and accepted come what may. It's an addiction to certainty. Then he wouldn't need a substance. He can get it from another method. And then the substance that he's using to achieve certainty can take a back seat. And he starts getting it from love, affection, acceptance. Most people only want acceptance. There is, love, unconditional acceptance. And because alcohol doesn't judge. Once you're under the influence of alcohol, people around you who are equally drunk will not judge. So it's a situation of non-judgment. And if you can give that certainty and non-judgment to them on a daily life around them, change can happen faster, better, quicker. Maybe someone is carrying something for 30 years of their life, a memory, an issue, and a 3-minute reworking, a 3-minute exercise, sometimes 3 seconds, can shift the person around. So that's how powerful something is. You just have to take the right state in the right context, and you can change the outcomes.
Everyone lives with some baggage, right, of their past, and any clinical testing, traumatic situations they might have been in will affect how they function in the present as well. But then you also said that through NLP, there can be maybe some simple exercises where you can overcome past traumas or patterns in a matter of minutes.
Right.
And this,
right.
it sounds amazing. It sounds too good to be true, actually. Can you maybe give us an example or a small exercise once again of how we can start to experience this?
Let's understand a couple of aspects that are adding to this, okay? And this is what I love and enjoy most about NLP is because if their Facebook or Instagram hashtag is hashtag seeker and hashtag seeking, okay? You see seeking is a present participle. That means it's a continual process, right? That I am seeking. It's a continual journey. And if you ask them, what are you seeking? Most of them wouldn't be able to put their finger on what they're seeking. Or if you ask them, have you found what you're looking for? And they say, not really, because their internal state is seeking, continually ongoing. Are you understanding how linguistic changes internal process?
Wow.
So if I want to feel a little more settled, saying, all right, I reached an island and now I'm burning the boats out of the island, implying that I've made a decision and I am there and I need to be happy with it. I need to linguistically even reframe my conjugation of that verb. To seek is the root verb linguistically. And if I have found it, I ought to say, I have found what I was seeking, or I have sought what I have and sorted what I was looking for or seeking for. So you start enjoying what you have now. Otherwise, there is always this feeling of insufficiency if it is ing, seeking, okay? Now, problems define people, okay? Or a person feels that their problems are a part of what makes them who they are. If you don't have any issues in your life, a lot of people around you say that's unnatural. How can you not have any issues? If I want to make even a mountain out of a mole, I can do that. Or I can say, whatever is happening with me, fantastic, great, because I'm choosing to focus on something completely different, right? So how they even perceive in their concept of the world, in NLP, we call it the map of the world, okay? It is a subjective representation of reality around us. And each one of us has our filters of how we see something. Now, let's take the concept of the past, okay? Or baggage from the past. It is said that we can't change the past, but we can change how we feel about it, right? So if a memory from the past is constantly coming to hound us repeatedly in the present, it's probably because I haven't put it in the past to begin with. I'm probably living that in the now. And in NLP, the L, which is the linguistic aspect, the way a person constructs the statements while narrating something is a direct reflection and a representation of what is happening in his very core belief, implying that I am bad at mathematics. Okay? Meaning I am in the here and the now. My childhood with mathematics has been terrible, and even till today, my mathematics is bad. Till the person does not reconstruct and reframe it in past tense, they will continue to be terrible or bad at whatever self-fulfilling prophecy it is for them. Okay? So even small linguistical changes, something tiny change, which is, even in body, a 2 millimeter can change. In physiology, can change the psychology of a person completely. That's why body language is so important. The same is with words. Rather than saying, I'm bad at something, you can say, I'm working on it. Or I have worked on it, or I have overcome it. I used to be bad at something. Today I'm whatever. Meaning that the brain now starts seeing the shift which is happening and focusing on the shift and the change rather than feeling stuck with the past. There are some very simple and easy techniques, even the way people are using their hands. Somebody will keep saying, I want to make a change, I'm doing something, but I just can't. And if you were to observe, John Grinder keeps saying this, that calibration is the mother of all skills. Meaning, if you're able to calibrate somebody just by their body language and their linguistics, you know exactly what the person can do differently to bring about a change. So in this example, if I calibrate this individual who's constantly saying, I want to bring about a change, I want to do something, and I just can't. Now, if I were to calibrate, I realize his problem is right in front of him. So every time he wants to move ahead, he's bumping into his problem state. Okay. A simple exercise. I mean, Devina, just look at how profound yet simple it is. If I was to ask him that, what is this problem that you keep speaking of? And he says, da 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 da, and he describes it so colorfully. Wow. And it's right in front of him. And if he says, there's this thing in front of me, it's like a shield.
Yeah.
Oh, would you like to think about moving the shield behind you and check what will happen? And the person says, okay, let me think about it. Why do we have a rear view mirror? Because we are able to see the rear. We are able to see something behind us. So for most people, the past is actually behind them.
Yes.
But for this individual, this episode is in front, which is his future. And just moving his hands behind, people feel a sense of liberation. And if you calibrate, you'll realize his shoulders will come up, chin will come up, eyes will light up, the texture of the skin changes. It is a magnanimous, instant, immediate change. In NLP, we work with time, the concept of time greatly. Okay. Yes. And there is a past, a present, a future. For each one, their timelines will be very different. Their concept and context of time will be very different. So if I was to step into his world, his map, and operate from it, I will realize where is his past, where is his future, where is his present, and help him be more in the present, iron out the future, and help him deal with his past better. Wow. Okay, so they're very quick, 3 second, 5 second, 1 minute, 2 minute exercises, and people just walk out not knowing what happened, because there is a structure to magic. Magic just happened. They have no idea how that bunny came out of the hat, but they just move their hand behind, and suddenly the person is liberated, or a small linguistical change makes the shift.